All right, great Tuesday morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Cesar Mascoro Jr. in with Manufactured Home Sales Mastery. And we are doing our 15 minutes to mastery that we do each and every day to get your day started off on the right foot with some information, inspiration, and motivation to make sure that you are focused in for the day. And this week we've been talking about professional development. We've been talking about how you can take your business, your career to a whole new level by just focusing in on continuing to improve. The goalpost always keeps moving, right? We never reach the end. There's always something else that we can improve. There's always something else we can learn because it's what's needed. And by you continuing to learn, now you've got things that you can continue to pass on to other folks within your team. Now, today we're talking about professional development into a trusted advisor, not just being a salesperson, being a trusted advisor. And Sharon Gilwater writes, to be seen as a trusted advisor, every touch you have with a customer should provide added value. So, you guys have heard me speak about a kid named, I call him a kid again, I'm sorry, and that is a gentleman named Chris who helped us with our last two vehicles that we purchased. And, we've all run across that salesperson when you go and buy a car that they're just, they see you looking at a car and they're pitching you the car. They're telling you how fast it goes, telling you about horsepower. They're telling you about the features and all of this stuff. Right. But on the other hand, you have people like Chris who first try to find out, hey, how do you use your vehicles? Who rides in the vehicles? How do you prefer to drive? How do you like to sit in your seats and all? He's just getting into the details of who you are as a driver to find the right vehicle for you based on that. And so there's a huge difference in the way that feels as a customer. There's a huge difference in how you feel as far as yourself, because you start to understand who you are as a consumer, as a driver, as a buyer, which then helps you feel more comfortable in making the decision based on what this person is suggesting to you. Right. So when Chris was like, hey, based on what you guys are telling me, these vehicles over here, I think are more of what you're looking for. Right. And so that goes a long way. And it's no different, folks, when we're talking about houses, manufactured homes, and what we do and what you do each and every day with your clients. Right. The difference between a salesperson, trusted advisor within the manufactured home world is focusing on solving the customer's problem. We talk about that all the time. I was listening to the podcast on the way in where they were talking about that, right? I was listening to Andy Frisella's podcast. He was talking about where when you start a business, or if you're an employee of a business, you should be focusing on what problem is it that you solve within your company. And in ours, it's the housing problem, right? And if you're always looking to solve the problem, you will get the sales. If you're always looking to solve the problem, you're going to make the impact that needs to be made in order for these customers to move forward, because you're building trust, right? Through listening to their needs and offering the advice that's going to benefit them. So that makes a huge difference, right? And so when you continue to develop professionally, when you continue to learn and work on developing your skills in human behavior, in building rapport, in overcoming objections, well, that investment of time in understanding people, it pays off huge, right? Because rather than you relying on these high pressure selling techniques, rather than relying on just being a hustler and slick with what you say and do, you're using influence based on trust. You're using emotional intelligence. You become an authority figure, not just a salesperson. And that right there makes you more credible and more approachable when it comes to those customers. Like I mentioned to you, right? When Chris started speaking to us about these things, asking us those things, I began to look at him as a true consultant, not a salesperson. Next time I go look at buying a vehicle, I'm going to reach out to that guy again. And he may not have any, but that's where I'm going to go first because I trust him. I love the way that he handles himself and the way he handles his business, right? And so, with that being said, it's developing into that type of person, right? And when you start to do that, you start using more emotional intelligence. We talked about that last week when we were talking about leadership, right? And emotional intelligence, by understanding the emotions behind the way that people make their buying decisions, right? So picking up on those subtle cues, whether it's that they're hesitating when they're talking to you, or their excitement, or just sometimes you can feel the uncertainty of them, right? So when you listen to these things and you pick up on them because of the emotional intelligence you've got, now you can offer true advice. You're not just selling a house. You're not just pitching them on something. You're creating a true experience that feels personalized and respectful to them. And again, it establishes you as an authority, right? And so if we are not comfortable in operating in that manner, that simply means we have more to learn. We have more to do. There's a huge opportunity to grow as an individual and a salesperson when you position yourself as that expert, right? And so we want to make sure that we're doing those things along the way. So when you do this, you truly are challenging the status quo. You're redefining influence. And that's what high performers do, is you've got that influence as a, or I should say, you're redefining that influence as ethical and customer focused. You're customer centric. You're using your knowledge of human behavior to be able to build that trust. You're using your knowledge of human behavior to help them understand what best is going to work for them, as far as not just on the home, but on the financing and things of that nature. You're using your understanding of human behavior to be the trusted advisor. And that, my friends, is what we want to do each and every time that we're talking to folks on the phone, or especially when we have them in front of us. So how is it that you can shift from a salesperson to a trusted advisor? Well, first and foremost, you got to focus on rapport building, rapport and trust building. You've got to master that. And it's not just simply about having a conversation. It's understanding what's going on during that conversation, picking up on your client's body language, picking up on, are they openly speaking to me, or are they holding back on certain things? Right. And also offering your advice or your conversation to establish yourself as somebody that they can confide in. Right. And so when you do that, now it's about educating and not selling. That right there is the easiest way to describe it. When you educate rather than sell, the sale gets so much easier. When you're looking to educate, you're going to get this customer interview sheet, and it is going to be chock full of information in here, because you're taking your time to make sure that you're truly understanding everything about this potential home buyer. When you just got a few lines in here that you're writing in on your interview sheet, you're blowing through that thing. You're not asking deeper questions. You're not trying to truly peel back the layers and figure out what's going on with these folks. So then it just stays transactional. So educate, don't just sell. And in order to do that, when it comes to that interview, you got to practice that active listening. You have to listen for what they're not saying as well. Okay. And that's going to help you move along and help build bigger impact or bigger influence within your buyer as that trusted advisor. And one of the main things that you need to do is offer long-term solutions. I'll give you an example. I believe it was Saturday that I was here in Tyler, Texas, and I had the privilege of coming and sitting in with a potential buyer, and we were talking about their kids. They have 4 kids and looking to get into a 3-bedroom home, right? and so the children are younger children, probably all under 10 years old. And I've always explained to my buyers, look, I understand this is where you're looking at being right now, but my responsibility here is to look at your family 5, 10 years down the road. And 5, 10 years down the road, your children are going to be much bigger. They're going to need more space. You're going to have more things. And so I don't want you to 5 years from now hate me because I put you in a home that fits your needs now, but it doesn't fit your needs 5 years from now. And this isn't like a car that you're just going to trade in every 3 or 4 years. So we're looking for long-term solutions for these buyers. And when you do things like that, lastly, it's about investing in yourself. You're investing in that continuous learning. You're investing in continuing to grow. You're investing in continuing to build your knowledge. And it doesn't even have to be specific to manufactured homes. Obviously, if you do that, that's going to do tremendous things for you. But just pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone to learn new things, whether it's listening to podcasts, whether it's reading a book, whatever it may be, reading the professional development book, right? Not a novel. But when you push yourself outside of your comfort zone to continue to learn things, your mind expands, your brain grows, you're constantly, your cognitive functions are different, and you just feel more inspired to do bigger and better things. So if you find yourself in a position where you're wondering, why is it that I can't push myself, is because you don't see the potential. You don't see the human potential within you to do bigger and better things. So continue to invest in continuous learning, and you'll see the difference that makes. So with that being said, don't forget, folks, we are right now getting ready for our 2025 Path to Mastery, which we're having November 18th and 19th. You can get in right now. We got a couple spots still left at the $49 price point. Get in there, go to the website, manufacturinghomesalesmastery.com. You can get all the details there. We're going to have 2 days, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., November 18th and 19th. It's the Monday and a Tuesday, where we're going to go over time management, professional development, leadership skills, and then breaking down 2025 to hit your goals, how to set up the goals, how to reverse engineer them, and put an action plan together so that you can hit these goals in 2025. So hopefully you'll join us for that. We've got that set up for you. Go out this Tuesday and become or work at becoming that trusted advisor. Continue to grow. Man, look, I still 15 years in this industry, continue to learn, continue to push myself, continue to try and get better, because I'm always wanting to improve and always wanting to push myself outside of my limits to be able to provide better value to our clients and help them help other people. So I hope you guys take from that, because we're here to help you grow your life, your business, your career to a whole new level. You guys have a great Tuesday. We'll be talking soon. And as always, can't wait to meet you.